Today we're working in the 2022 Ford Maverick. I'm going to show you how I wired up a powered subwoofer. So I've got the woofer here, and there was kind of this butterfly looking bracket over here, and what I did is I bolted onto it on the bottom, and for now I'm just using zip ties on the top to secure it because it's kind of free floating, kind of sits in there. Kind of nice because it floats and it prevents you from rattling. So I'm going to kind of walk you through steps to wire this thing up. So first things first, if we jump in here, this is the access hatch where the 12-volt battery is. So when you're doing work, make sure you always disconnect your negative before you start your work. And you can see I've just connected an N terminal right there on the positive. And then I ran my wire underneath here and up. So if we get back here, and now I don't have any of this cable management stuff secured. I'm going to show you two different ways that you can wire this. So here would be my fuse, and then my power will come up to the power cable on the amp. My ground right here, I've got it coming up behind, and I'm using a ground tab that already exists for grounding other electronics in the truck. And then for my amp, I have what's called high level inputs, and this is one way that you can wire this up. So this is a powered subwoofer. I had it laying around, so I figured I'd make it work. So this is a little 5-pin connector, and it has high level inputs. So you've got speaker, you tie this to your left side speakers, you tie the other side to your right side speakers, and then the center is a ground. And so I've already done a video showing how to change the rear speakers out. And as part of that, I used pigtail connectors. I ran my speaker wire down through here, and like I said, I've left all this loose just for demonstration. I'm going to tie it all up after I set up another configuration here. And so what I've done is I've just used these Wago nuts, lever nuts, for quick connection. And so I've got my speaker wires on the one side, my speaker wires on the other, and then I've got this little device. So this is a pack audio TR4, and what this does is you tie it into your 12-volt your 12-volt ground, your 12-volt positive, and then you also tie one input into your speaker input. And then what it will do is it will provide a 12-volt signal. When the speakers are on and there's power going to the speakers, it will provide a remote signal to tell your amp when to turn on, which is really nice because then you do not have to wire up to the front. You don't have to tap into the stereo. You don't have to tap into the fuse panel to have a fuse where the ignition is on. So it's very, very, very convenient. So that is one way that you can wire up a subwoofer aftermarket without having to run any wires to the front on the Ford Maverick. And I'll show you another way that you can do it as well. So the other way you could do it without having to run a remote wire is getting a device like this. So it's a line output converter. So what you would do is you will hook up your power, you'll hook up your ground, you'll hook up your left speaker and your right speaker. And then what it will do is it will provide you with RCA jacks, and your RCA jacks would go in here to the amp, and then you would not use this harness at all. You would not use the high level input. You would use the RCAs from this, and it's kind of cool because it has adjustment. And then it also provides you with a remote wire turn on so that the amp only turns on when there's power being driven to the rear speakers. So pretty slick. This is the other way that you can wire this in, and I will draw a couple diagrams showing quickly how that can be done. And this way you do it in a clean way, and you have to run no wires to the front. Where the battery's on the back on the hybrid makes for a very, very clean and quick install. Okay, I'll show you briefly how this is connected now. So basically I'm coming to my right speaker with 2 of these, my left speaker with the other 2. One goes to power, one goes to ground, and then one provides the remote off of those signals. And so I'm just leaving that hanging out here. Got my little RCA bundle down here. My power goes down, my fuse is right there, ground straight to the amp, and the battery's right there. That's about as simple as it ever gets doing an audio install, and it sounds phenomenal. I absolutely love it. And I guess if I wanted to get fancy for looks, which as you can tell, I don't care about looks, I care about the functionality, but I could do a little bit of carpeting over that piece of wood. But I'm not getting any rattles, I'm not getting any funny sounds, so I'm probably just going to leave it as is. Sounds really good.